Welcome back to the Mindful Spoon. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what to eat for gastritis and acid reflux. They actually have a lot of commonalities in the foods you should avoid, and I really want to make it easy and understandable to people. These are a lot of the things that worked for me. When it came to lifestyle and dietary factors, there's a lot of different realms that we can go into. So there's 3 different sections that are going to be separated in this video. The first thing that we're going to talk about is when to eat for gastritis and acid reflux, what to eat for gastritis and acid reflux, and how to eat. Yes, how to eat for gastritis and acid reflux. Before I do so, I want to make sure and let you guys know that I just came out with my very own ebook, and it's filled with recipes. It's all for gastritis and acid reflux, people who have had GERD, and people who just have a lot of bloating and gas and discomfort and have been previously diagnosed with those issues. I got a lot of inquiry about my personalized meal plan, so I just decided to create it and combine it into a whole cookbook. This cookbook not only has the recipes, but it also is a guide for a lot of people. It has lifestyle factors, snacks, just things that you can do proactively that don't necessarily have to do with too many dietary things, just things that you can do every single day, things that have helped me as well, that can help you in your healing journey. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link down below so you can check it out. Okay, so first thing is when to eat. When should you eat when you have gastritis and acid reflux? And how does this vary among people who have graveyard shifts, among people who work really early in the morning, or who are working all day? I'm sure there are tons of busy people out there that want to make sure that they're doing the right thing in their healing journey along with what their doctor is treating them with. So figuring out what your body and what you are more comfortable with upon your lifestyle is really important. And by that I mean figuring out how you're going to be able to schedule in your meal times. I get a lot of people tell me that they get a lot of hunger pains and they get this weird rage of like they want to just eat a lot even though they just ate, and they just feel like their body's not like fully processing things. You have to keep in mind that it usually takes the body about 20 minutes to realize, for your brain to realize that it's full. So you could be eating even more or overeating in that time. So it's always important to keep in mind that you want to eat slowly, you want to eat at a good pace, not too fast, because that can really hinder with someone's digestion, can really cause and trigger a lot of indigestion for people. So figure out what you're more comfortable with. For me, I felt that what worked for me in lowering a lot of the hunger pains was really focusing on small, more frequent meals throughout the day. And really making sure that I'm eating around the same times every day. So if you have a job and you know that you're gonna get a break in between, always have your snacks ready. That really helped me too, because if I went for too long without eating, I noticed that that would instantly just trigger my reflux. And there have been countless studies saying, why do we get belching? Why do we get all of this burping and this bloating? And a lot of the reasons could be because of the irregular meal times. They're very infrequent times that you're eating. So if your body doesn't have a set schedule, it's similar to like the circadian rhythm, right? A lot of people don't have like a set schedule of when they're waking up and when they're going to bed. And that's something that I've personally struggled with. And if your body's not in that set routine, a lot of the times that can really affect how often you get those triggers or those symptoms. So what really worked for me was small, more frequent meals at the time. Like I mentioned, I literally had I would have this specific bowl for myself and I would just fill it up, and I would probably about like every 2 hours. Now, if you can't do that, you always have snacks. You always have something on the side, right, that you know you can rely on. This not only helps people in gastritis and acid reflux, but it just helps you keep your energy up throughout the day. This might not work for everyone. The small frequent meals might not work for everyone, and that's why we have the second option, which would be bigger, less frequent meals, but you want to make sure that those bigger meals are filled with a good amount of protein, a good amount of carbs, so something that will be hefty enough to fill you up and to give you that energy to keep going throughout the day without having a big slump. The next option is fasting for when to eat. A lot of people try intermittent fasting, and that really seems to help out with their gastritis especially, and their acid reflux too, because what ends up happening is you only have a window, a set window that you give yourself that you're eating in, and most of the time that window ends at a very early time, usually around 7 p.m. for a lot of people. Let's say you go to bed around 10 or 11, you have 4 hours in order for your stomach to kind of settle in, for all of the food to be processed fully, you want to make sure that you're not going to bed with a full stomach and you're just knocking out, because that can really trigger a lot of the reflux symptoms that we have. This is because that same heaviness in the stomach and the food that's being processed, combined with you just sitting down and not giving it any type of movement, or you just laying down and not giving it any type of movement, can really slow down the digestion and can really just keep the food there and then cause indigestion for a lot of people and a lot of discomfort as well. So there's a lot of different options that you can go with. You can also go with a mix of things, but the 3 options that I always give people is try to figure out what works best for you: small, more frequent meals, less frequent meals but bigger meals, or just intermittent fasting and figuring out what the best windows are for you to eat. This is so important. Again, it can really lower the cause of morning reflux for a lot of people. Also, feel free to share your own experience. What has helped you? A lot of people, I believe like a big percentage of the people that are commenting on my videos talk about how good fasting is. I've definitely tried it, but it's very hard for me to like stick to a set schedule in that sense. For me, it's easier to just do smaller, more frequent meals. And it kept my energy up too. Next thing is what to eat for gastritis and acid reflux. There's actually a whole list of what foods you should eat and what foods you can avoid as well when it comes to gastritis and acid reflux on our meal plan. I really like to stick to a lot of low acidic vegetables, and you can really like dig into what those are and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But low acidic vegetables, low acidic fruits, and lean proteins are probably one of the best things. You also want to make sure if you're going to try a certain fruit, you want to make sure if it's ripe, because a lot of the times I notice, for me personally, ripe foods, sweeter foods worked a little bit better with my digestion. It was mainly because the acidity was kind of taken away from the taste of it. So if I had very acidic blueberries, I would definitely notice it compared to if I had ripe blueberries. So always be mindful of that and see how that works for you. I think it's really helpful to constantly be self-assessing yourself, obviously not obsessively, but self-assessing in the sense of what makes your body feel good. One of the things that I always tell my clients that really helped me feel good is, especially when it came to just specific meals, right, was salmon. And salmon also has omega-3s, which can be anti-inflammatory for a lot of people, along with rice and maybe some green beans on the side. And green beans are great for your gut as well. And I feel like that trio really helped me, and it was something safe that I knew I can rely whenever I really just didn't feel good, whenever I felt like the symptoms wanted to come back. So it's really important to try to keep a list of those things. That will also help you probably not waste as much money as you would if you just went into a grocery store and just went, okay, what do I do? What do I get? You know, like, you will have more of an organized list and you will know what helps you. I also get a lot of questions about snacks on what to eat. I like to keep it really light. I will do some type of banana. I know a lot of people don't do toast when it comes to gastritis and acid reflux. They try to stay away from gluten, whatnot. That's completely fine. It's up to you, obviously, however you're feeling. But for me, rice cakes with almond butter really helped me, and then I would put in some berries on top, like blueberries, or sometimes I would put in a little bit of banana too on top, like sliced banana. Stuff like that can be really helpful. However, I am conscious that there is a lot of people out there that are trying to stay away for the time being while healing their gut from wheat and dairy and soy and all of those products. That is completely fine. Try to stay away from those and try to see how you feel, because it could just be that maybe you're just sensitive to one of these things and they're triggering your symptoms. So the biggest ones are wheat, gluten, they are dairy, they are soy products. That's one thing that I've tried to be really conscious of when it came to the meal plan. I tried to really stick to things that didn't have a lot of bread. I probably have like 1 or 2 different like recipes on there. It comes with a 15-day meal plan, so it has everything set out, like a whole map for you. Okay, so that was what to eat. Now we're going to be delving into how to eat. Now, it's understandable, the how to eat sounds weird. Like, obviously you just chew your food and you're done. Like, that's how you eat. It's so obvious. But I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into that. Trust me. One of the things that I have been told so many times by different practitioners and different people that I have worked in the field with, that have helped me in my healing journey, is to really try to stay away from distractions or any type of bad news when it comes to your meals, when it comes to you sitting down and eating. Watching the news, watching something jarring, something crazy, even if it's just on your phone, can be very distracting, but also it can encourage cortisol to really rise in your body. And you do not want that to happen, especially when you're eating. You want to be as calm as possible when you're eating, because you want to make sure that all those muscles, everything in your stomach, all your digestive system is relaxed enough and ready to take in those nutrients, that nutrition, in order to absorb all of the minerals and the vitamins in the food that you're consuming. So I've countlessly been told to take 10 deep breaths before your meals. Now this might be a little bit hard for some people, especially when you're out and about doing something, but if you can just try to do that even before you go, let's say you go to the restroom to wash your hands, do a couple of breaths there. You can always try to do a couple of breaths in the moment before having your meals, just you can keep your eyes open, that's completely fine, but trying to stay as calm as possible. I also notice that whenever I have any type of distraction, whether it's TV or my phone, whenever I'm eating, whenever that happens, I tend to eat a lot faster, and that tends to usually give me some type of indigestion. Whenever I'm in the present moment and I'm eating my food and I'm not really like everywhere all at once, I'm not watching anything crazy, that usually is when I'm like at most calm and I'm able to digest things a lot better. So definitely taking, like chewing on your food, making sure there is this very like well-known saying in the nutrition world where they say that you want to make sure that you chew your food almost to the point where what was once solid, right, is now liquid. So you want to make sure you chew your food until it's almost liquidy and it's good enough for you to completely swallow it. Next thing, I've talked about this before, but you have to avoid water with your meals. I always say this on my TikTok lives. Whenever we go to a restaurant, what is the first thing that they ask you for? They ask you, what do you want to drink? We are so used to having a drink with us when it comes to having your meal, right? Like, it's always, what am I gonna have with my meals? This is one of the easy things, similar to what I mentioned earlier, where like, I didn't notice that my acid reflux in the morning was happening because I was eating really late at night and then going straight to bed. This is one of the really easy lifestyle changes that you can make, and there's a couple more on the meal plan as well. What you can do instead is you can have water 30 minutes to an hour before or after a meal. You can have, like I would also stick, when it comes to dietary, when it comes to liquids and drinking things, I would stay away from alcohol like everyone mentions, but I would also really try to focus on whether or not the carbonation in some of the drinks that you're having is causing this reflux, or mainly gastritis. For a lot of people with gastritis, it's recommended to stay away from sodas, but people will stick to something that is sugar-free, right? But that can still really trigger your stomach and its symptoms. So I would really try to stay away from carbonated drinks just for the time being, and seeing if that makes a difference for you. Those are some basic things that I wanted to touch on this video. They're very important dietary and lifestyle habits, and there is a lot more on the meal plan. There's a whole 15-day plan. You don't have to follow it like to the T, but you can definitely look more into it. Pick the recipes that you like, the smoothies, the soups, everything. Pick all those that you like in order to promote healing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Down below I will be leaving the meal plan that I've been talking about during this video. Thank you so much for those of you who have purchased. I'm very grateful, and I'm so excited that you guys are excited to try it out, and just looking at all the recipes that you guys are doing is amazing. So if you guys want to follow us on TikTok and on Instagram, I'm constantly on TikTok live a couple times a week, and Instagram I'm posting here and there as well. So thank you guys again. Make sure you like this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.